Welcome to this deep dive. We're digging into the latest from the financial world today. Specifically, we're looking at BSE Ltd. You probably know it as the Bombay Stock Exchange.
Yep. We've got our hands on their recent investor presentation and also a communication they sent out after their board meeting.
Right. So our mission here is basically to pull out the key stuff, the main financial indicators, the big strategic decisions they've made.
And what they're telling investors about the future. We want to give you a clear picture of where BSE stands right now and, well, where it looks like they're headed.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Financial performance. This is for the year ending March 31st, 2025. And honestly, the first numbers are pretty striking.
They really are.
Consolidated revenue from operations, it shot up to 295,704 million the previous year.
Yeah, compared to euro 137,104 million the previous year. That's quite a jump.
Huge jump. What's driving that, do you think? Increased trading? New products, maybe?
It's likely a mix of things. Higher volumes, maybe some successful new offerings, favorable market conditions perhaps. Whatever it is, it shows their market presence is definitely growing.
And the profit story looks just as good, right?
Absolutely. Consolidated net profit after tax, that also saw a big rise, came in at euro 131,706 million.
That's up from, what was it, 76,870 million.
Exactly. So really strong performance overall.
Okay, so fantastic headline numbers. But let's look a bit deeper. What about the costs involved in generating that income? Any key expenses standing out?
Well, the presentation mentions the usual things you'd expect for an exchange. Employee costs, tech investments, clearing and settlement, standard stuff. But one thing that did catch my eye was the regulatory contribution. It seems like a pre-noticeable line item.
Ah, okay, so dealing with regulations, SEBI fees, that kind of thing.
Precisely. Operating an exchange in India involves specific regulatory costs, and the fact they highlight it suggests it's, a significant factor in their overall expenses, something investors probably keep an eye on.
Makes sense. And we should mention the standalone figures, too. They also look strong.
Very much so. Standalone total income hit 291,275 million, up from about 129 billion.
Wow.
And standalone net profit was 111,245 million, up from roughly over 75 billion. So healthy growth there, too.
And their net worth, where did that land?
Consolidated net worth stood at euro 439,666 million at the end of March. Pretty solid base.
Okay. And for anyone tracking the stock itself, they did provide earnings per share, the EPS figures.
Yes, they did, both basic and diluted EPS covering continuing and total operations. It gives you that direct profitability view on a per-share basis.
Crucial for investors, yeah. Assessing value and performance.
Exactly. It's a key metric.
All right. Now, moving on to something shareholders always like to hear about, dividends.
Ah, yes, the payout.
They've recommended a final dividend. It's 23 per equity share.
Okay.
But here's the cool part. That includes the regular euro 18 plus a special dividend of euro 5.
Oh, interesting. Why the special dividend?
It's to mark BSE's 150th anniversary.
Ah, right. 150 years. That is a milestone. So a nice little bonus for shareholders to celebrate.
Definitely. It underscores the anniversary and maybe signals confidence, sharing the success.
For sure. So if you're a shareholder, you'll want to know the dates. The record date is Wednesday, May 14th, 2025.
Okay, May 14th.
And assuming shareholders approve it at the AGM, the actual payment should be done by September 18th.
Good to know. Important dates there. So
Yeah.
beyond the dividend, where's the future growth coming from? BSE Star MF seems to be a big focus.
It certainly looks that way. That's their mutual fund platform, right?
Yeah, for transacting mutual funds. And it seems to be really taking off. The AD premium turnover, that's the premium collected on transactions.
Right.
Just kept climbing each quarter.
Right.
Hit 4,748 million in Q4 FY25.
That's impressive growth. And the total revenue from the platform is up too, reaching 505 million in that last quarter.
So it's becoming a real revenue driver.
It seems like it. And they're getting more people using it too. The members UCC, that's the unique codes for investors, that reached 7.1 million. Steady growth there as well. More and more investors choosing that platform.
You can see why, though. They list the benefits, cost savings, convenience, always good.
Pluses, yeah.
Strong network, good connectivity, handles both DMAT and non-DMAT.
Which is flexible. DMAT being electronic shares, non-DMAT the older physical style.
Right, and you can do basically everything online.
Yeah.
Buying, selling, SIPs, switching funds, less paperwork hassle.
Exactly. Seems very user-focused. And interestingly, they're not just sticking to mutual funds on these platforms.
Oh.
They're expanding, adding services like IPO book building, offers to buy or sell shares, even a new bond platform.
diversifying the platform. That could be a smart move for future growth.
Could be significant, yeah. Branching out beyond just MF.
And overall, their investor base is huge, isn't it?
The number was.
236.85 million registered investors. It's massive.
Just shows their reach in India.
Absolutely. Underscores their long history and importance.
Yeah.
Now, the documents also showed a shareholding pattern.
Right, the pie chart visual. Yeah. It breaks down ownership by category, institutions, retail, etc. The exact percentages weren't in the text we saw.
Okay.
But it's standard info investors look at. Shows who owns the company, gives clues about confidence, Lots of long-term institutions can be a good sign.
Gotcha. Okay, let's shift gears to strategic moves. Acquisitions, divestments, what's happening there?
Well, one big thing was acquiring the rest of Asia Index Private Limited, AIPL. They bought the remaining 50% back in June 2024.
So AIPL is now fully owned by BSE. What does AIPL do again?
They handle index services. Think S&P BSE indices, like the Sensex.
Ah, right. So now BSE has full control over that.
Exactly. More strategic control. They can create new indices, maybe develop more index-linked products without needing partner approval. It gives them more flexibility.
Interesting. But on the flip side, they're selling something off too.
Yes, they got approval to divest their stake in BSE Institute Ltd. That's their education arm.
Right.
They signed a share purchase agreement in early May, so it's now classified as asset held for sale.
So moving out of the education business seems like a shift.
It definitely suggests a strategic realignment, focusing more on the core exchange business and those growing platforms, perhaps.
Makes sense. Concentrate resources. What else on the strategic front?
There was also news about resolving the SEBI regulatory fees issue. It sounds like they've aligned with SEBI on how to calculate those fees, especially for option contracts based on notional value.
Okay, so clarity there. That probably removes some uncertainty.
Should do, yeah. Less potential financial risk hanging over them.
And something about a fund reversal, ICCL.
Right. Indian Clearing Corporation Limited, ICCL, they made a one-time reversal of about 14,700 lakhs back to the Core Settlement Guarantee Fund.
The core SGF. That's like the market safety net, right?
Exactly. It ensures clearing and settlement stability. This reversal, done with SEBI's okay, shows they're actively managing these crucial funds.
Good governance, basically. Speaking of which, any key appointments?
Yes, a couple. They appointed Drumil M. Shah & Co., LLP, as the secretarial auditor for 5 years.
And the notes mention their experience.
Yeah, specifically with MII Compliance's market infrastructure institution, so they know the exchange landscape.
Okay. And an internal auditor, too.
Yep. Miscellaneous Associates appointed for 3 years, also noted for their expertise in internal audits for MIIs.
So really emphasizing strong compliance and oversight, crucial for an exchange.
Absolutely vital.
Finally, let's touch on capital allocation. How have they been returning value to shareholders over time?
The presentation summed it up. Between fiscal year 2015-16 and 2024-25, the total distribution dividends plus buybacks was $21,110 million.
Wow, over $21 billion returned to shareholders in about a decade.
It shows a pretty consistent strategy of sharing the profits, which investors generally like to see.
For sure. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What are the key takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, first off, really strong financial performance in FY25. Revenue and profit way up.
Definitely. And the dividend announcement with that special 150th year kicker, that's a clear positive signal.
Agreed. Then there's the growth in the BSE Star MF platform that looks like a key engine for them going forward.
And the strategic moves, buying AIPL outright, selling the institute, suggest a sharpening focus.
Yeah, focusing on core exchange and platform services. Plus, resolving that SEBI fee issue and appointing experienced auditors adds to a picture of stability and clear direction.
Right. So that brings us to the final thought for you, the listener.
Consider what these strategic shifts mean. The big push on the mutual fund platform, the move away from education.
What does that signal about where BSE sees its future, and maybe the future of financial services in India more broadly?
Exactly. What other questions does this raise for you as you think about BSE's path forward? Definitely some food for thought there.